Hi everyone, I'm Aurora from Susan's family. Today I'm bringing you the Fluffy Friend bag, gray version. This bag is made up of the main part, accessories and assembly. First, make the main part and accessories separately, then assemble them together. Now let's learn how to crochet the main part. The main part is divided into the first section, the second section and sewing on the zipper. Let's start with the first section. Begin with a chain stitch. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Several stitch techniques are used here. The chart will label all details. I won't go through each one here. Before starting the actual crocheting, let's first understand the chart. The chart uses H plus number for row numbers and R plus number for round numbers. The increases and decreases explanation column shows the stitch techniques used when crocheting the current row, including increases and decreases. The total stitches column indicates the total number of stitches. After completing all techniques in that row, note that the main part yarn can make it hard to see the stitches clearly while crocheting. It's recommended to follow the video tutorial first. You can also practice with other yarn first, before applying the technique to the actual project. After mastering the corresponding crochet method, I'm demonstrating with cotton yarn here, using random colors. For specific yarn, color scheme and hook size, please refer to the product detail page and paper instructions. Let's start with a chain stitch. In the chart, CH indicates chain stitch. 1 2 CH means chain 12 stitches. Take out the yarn. Make a slip knot after leaving a yarn tail. Then start with a chain stitch. To make crocheting easier, place a stitch marker on the 1st, 5th and 10th stitches. If you don't have stitch markers, you can use safety pins or paper clips instead. After completing 1 2 CH, next, crochet the first round. Back 3 means starting at the third to last stitch. TV means half double crochet increase. The technique for this stitch is working 2 half double crochets in the same position. Here, pick up 1 to 2 strands of the chain stitch to crochet. Before crocheting, place a stitch marker to mark the loop on your hook. Note that the working yarn should not be caught inside the stitch marker. One stitch. 2 stitches. The half double crochet increase is completed. The stitch marker marks the first stitch of this round. Continue working 8 half double crochets evenly. Now only one chain stitch remains. Brackets indicate the same position. Work the stitch pattern inside the brackets. Here, work into the last chain stitch. Work 5 half double crochets. Mark the 1st and 5th stitches as you crochet. Rotate the piece after completing. Skip the last chain stitch. That is, the position marked by the stitch marker. on the left chain stitch, that is, the insertion point of the half double crochet below. Begin working 8 half double crochets evenly. When crocheting, you can place the starting tail over the hook to secure it together. After completing, TW means half double crochet 3 in 1. The technique for this stitch is, work 3 half double crochets into the same stitch. Pay attention to mark stitch markers on the first and last stitches. After completing, make 1 slip stitch in the first stitch of this round. Make 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. The joining slip stitch does not count as a stitch. Need to tighten. The slip stitch is not indicated in the form. Actually, when crocheting in rounds, always finish by joining with a slip stitch. This completes the first round. Before crocheting round 2, remove the stitch marker that marks the beginning of the round. Then crochet round 2. First work 2 chains as the turning chain for this round. Note the turning chain does not count as a stitch. Corresponds to the position of the first stitch below. Continue in the first stitch of the previous round. Make 1 half double crochet increase, HDC 2 in 1. Mark the first stitch of the round. Remember to mark the first stitch of each subsequent round. I won't repeat this explanation. After completing, work 1 more half double crochet increase, HDC 2 in 1. Mark the second stitch here. Then work 8 half double crochets. Five half double crochet increases. Mark the first and last stitch of the increases here. Convenient for later crocheting. Whenever you encounter an increase position, you can mark it this way. Then work 8 half double crochets. Three half double crochet increases. Similarly, mark the first and last stitch of the increase position. Check the stitch count after completing. Remove the stitch marker from the previous round. Then join with a slip stitch at the first stitch of this round. Gently tighten. At the end of each round, always join with a slip stitch to the first stitch. I won't repeat this explanation from now on. The second round is complete. Now work on the third round. First work 2 beginning chains. The 2ch beginning chain never counts as one stitch. I won't repeat this explanation from now on. Next, the parentheses T, TV, indicate one group. X times indicates the number of times to repeat the pattern. First work 1/2 double crochet. 1/2 double crochet increase. This completes one group T, TV. Now work another group. 1/2 double crochet and 1/2 double crochet increase. This completes another group T, TV. Then work 8 half double crochets. After completing, it's T, TV, X5. Meaning repeat the stitch pattern inside the parentheses 5 times. After completing, work another 8 half double crochets. Work T, TV, 3 groups. After completing, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Remove the stitch marker from the previous round. At this point, the third round is completed. For rounds 4 to 6, all stitch techniques used have been demonstrated in detail before. The increases and decreases explanation means similar to previous. Just crochet according to the stitch pattern order in the chart. When crocheting, 2ch doesn't count as one stitch. Finish the round with a slip stitch. After completing round 4, you can roughly measure the width. This is approximately the overall width of the bag. Compare with the data given in the chart. If there's a significant difference, switch to a different hook size, or adjust the tension of your hands and recrochet. If you're unsure about the number of rounds while crocheting, you can feel the fabric with your hands. There's more space between half double crochets. Vertically, each hole represents one row. After folding the fabric in half, count upwards vertically like this. Then you can count the number of rounds. If you really can't tell, you can also place a stitch marker on that round. After completing each round, then follow the method we learned earlier. Refer to the chart to finish this section. After finishing this section, you should have a basic understanding of the stitch techniques. If you can't find the stitch or crochet position when working with the original yarn, you can refer to the video tutorial below. Follow the demonstration from previous videos while crocheting. Note that the stitch techniques shown in the video are for reference only. Now I'll demonstrate how to crochet an oval shape using the fluffy honey yarn, starting with a foundation chain. Because this yarn has long fibers, the stitches can be hard to see while crocheting. Here I'll show you how to mark stitches while working, using single crochet as an example. For demonstration. Actual crocheting should follow your own pattern chart. Start with a foundation chain. Here we demonstrate with 12 stitches as an example. Leave a long yarn tail and make a slip knot. Chain 1. Now underneath the loop on your hook is the first chain stitch. You can feel a small hole by touching it. Place a stitch marker in this small hole. Continue with 11 more stitches. Place a stitch marker in each stitch as you go. When placing stitch markers, keep the direction consistent, always inserting from top to bottom. Now feel the chain stitches. When touching continuously, you'll notice a small bump between each 2 chain stitches. The indented hole position is where the chain stitch is. After completing, check the stitch count. This completes the foundation chain. Next, work the first round. Since there are many stitches in this round, we'll divide it into an increasing section and an even section to make crocheting more convenient. In this round's increasing section, mark every stitch with a stitch marker. For the middle even section, you can mark every 5 stitches with a stitch marker. Work 1 chain stitch as the turning chain for the single crochet. This turning chain does not count as a stitch. Then place the stitch marker on the entire loop on your hook. Pay attention to this yarn strand. Don't let it get caught inside the stitch marker. Continue working on the last stitch of the starting chain. Insert your hook through the small hole of the stitch marker. Work 1 single crochet. The stitch marker marks the first single crochet. To distinguish it, you can add another stitch marker on the first stitch. Feel with your hands for the stitch with 2 strands of yarn, which forms a small dent. Continue working the even section in the middle. Matching 1 to 1, work 4 single crochets first. Pay attention while crocheting. Don't twist the chain stitches. You can refer to the direction of the stitch marker. They should all be facing downward consistently. Continue to the 5th stitch and place a marker. Keep going down to crochet. Keep crocheting until there's 1 stitch left in the starting chain. The even section in the middle is now completed. Now there's only 1 stitch left in the starting chain. Work 3 consecutive single crochets in this stitch. Remember to mark every stitch in the increasing section. After completing, roughly check the stitch count. Since it's 1 stitch to another crocheting, it's almost impossible to make a mistake. Then rotate the piece. Continue at the previously marked stitch marker position. Start working single crochets corresponding to each stitch from the left side. As you crochet, remove the stitch markers while working the edge. Place the starting yarn tail above the hook. Gather them together. Remember to place a stitch marker every 5 stitches. Only the last stitch of the starting chain remains. Work 2 single crochets in it. This completes the increasing section. Next, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch of this round. Pull tight. The first round is complete. Round 2. Make 1 beginning chain. This round is worked on the increasing section of the previous round. Work single crochet increases corresponding to each stitch. Mark the first stitch of each stitch with a stitch marker. The increasing section of this round is also marked correspondingly. Before completing this round, the stitch markers can remain in place for now. Because the stitch markers from the previous round weren't placed in every stitch, so as we crochet this round, before working each stitch, we need to locate the stitch position. Hold it with your hand and then crochet. Keep the position held steady while crocheting. After finishing, feel the adjacent stitch on the left side, which is the small hole position. There will be a noticeable dent. If you can't find it, insert a needle into the small hole for assistance. The stitch is easier to insert into compared to other positions. Pay attention that the stitch should be close to the edge of the fabric. Hold this position and continue working the even section. Keep crocheting downward. After confirming the position with your finger, then work the next stitch. While crocheting, you can refer to the previous round. Check the stitch marker positions in the even section. Verify the stitch count for this round. After finishing the even section, continue with the increasing section. That is, correspondingly make single crochet increases at the stitch marker positions. Here you can use 2 stitch markers to mark the first stitch of the increasing section. Convenient for later differentiation. After completing each increase, then remove the stitch marker below. After finishing, continue with the even section. Then on the last 2 stitches, make single crochet increases. Place another stitch marker on the first stitch of the increasing section here, to make a distinction, for differentiation. After finishing, check the stitch count in the increasing section. Try to verify the stitch count in the even section as you crochet. Once confirmed, join with a slip stitch on the first stitch. Pull tight. The second round is complete. The stitch markers from the previous round can now be removed. Continue to work one more round. Starting from the next round, reduce the number of stitch markers. Only mark the first and last stitches of the increasing section. For the middle even section, still mark 1 stitch marker every 5 stitches. Meanwhile, always mark the first and last stitches of each round. Now let's work this round. As you crochet, remove the stitch marker from the first stitch of the previous round. Always remove them after completing the current round. Each increase should be completed before removing the stitch marker below. Complete this round. The stitch marker at the first stitch of the increasing section should also be removed after finishing the round. After completing, join with a slip stitch at the first stitch. Pull tight. The third round is complete. Continue to work one more round. Always follow the increasing section and even section to distinguish the stitch placement for each round. Check the stitch count and position for the current round to avoid missing stitches. If you really can't find the stitch when crocheting, you can also refer to the stitch marker position from the previous round combined with the current round's stitch count to find an easy spot to insert the hook near the edge of the fabric for crocheting. When crocheting, check the total stitches for the round to ensure they match the target count. If after completing a round, you find the total stitch count is wrong, you need to unravel back to the first stitch marker position of the previous round. Unravel slowly. And remember to pull the yarn loop back through. After unraveling, recrochet the current round. This completes the chain cast on and crocheting in rounds for an oval shape. Now I'll demonstrate the 7th round using this swatch. This round requires crocheting with 2 colors of yarn. Take out the yarn needed for the beginning of the round, which we'll call the new yarn. Leave a yarn tail and make a slip knot. Crochet 1 chain stitch with the new yarn as the turning chain for single crochet. This turning chain isn't shown in the chart. Actually, when crocheting single crochets in rounds, you always need to make a beginning chain to start. The beginning chain for single crochet doesn't count as 1 stitch. Gently tighten the yarn tail afterward. Next, crochet 5 single crochets with the new yarn. While crocheting, take the yarn from the previous round, which we call the original yarn, and carry it on the hook while crocheting. When you reach the 5th stitch, switch to the original yarn for crocheting. The method to switch colors is to first crochet an incomplete single crochet, insert the hook and pull the yarn through. This completes the incomplete single crochet. After picking up the original yarn, yarn over and draw through. Now one single crochet is completed, and the color has been switched. All subsequent color changes follow this method. Switch colors by crocheting an incomplete stitch on the last stitch. Next, crochet 8 single crochets with the original yarn. Remember to carry the new yarn while crocheting. Switch colors on the 8th stitch. When switching colors, first crochet an incomplete single crochet. Then switch to the new yarn. Yarn over and draw through. This completes the crocheting and color change. All subsequent color changes should follow this demonstration. Continue with the new yarn for 3 single crochets and switch colors. Crochet 8 single crochets with the original yarn and switch colors. Then crochet 28 single crochets with the new yarn. For the first 3 stitches here, you can carry the original yarn while crocheting. No need to carry the yarn anymore. Continue to crochet the entire round. After completing, slip stitch in the first stitch. The 7th round is completed. Move on to the 8th round. Make one beginning chain. This beginning chain doesn't count as one stitch. Continue with the new yarn for 6 single crochets. When crocheting the 5th stitch, take the original yarn from the previous round. Place the yarn over the hook once. Make sure the yarn on the wrong side is level with the fabric, or slightly longer, to prevent the fabric from shrinking. Continue crocheting the 6th stitch and switch colors. Then refer to the chart for single crochets. Pay attention to color changes during the crocheting process. All yarns on the wrong side should be placed over the hook. Carry them together. After finishing the original yarn in this round, Pay attention to carry the new yarn for a bit longer distance. The original yarn won't be used anymore, just cut the yarn. Then continue to finish this round. This completes the 8th round. The first section is finished. I'll continue demonstrating the next technique with cotton yarn. Use this swatch to crochet the first round of the second section. First work 2 chains to begin. Next taw indicates half double crochet decrease. The technique for this stitch is, first work 2 incomplete half double crochets, yarn over, insert the hook into the stitch and draw the yarn through. 1 incomplete half double crochet is done. Work another stitch, yarn over, insert into the left stitch, and draw the yarn through. Now you have 2 incomplete half double crochets on your hook. Yarn over and draw through all loops on the hook in once. The half double crochet decrease is completed. Continue with 2 half double crochets. One half double crochet decrease. When crocheting, if you can't distinguish the stitches for the half double crochet decrease, you can mark them with stitch markers. Whenever you encounter a decrease, mark them with stitch markers. First work 2 incomplete half double crochets. Then yarn over and draw through in once. The half double crochet decrease is completed. Continue with 16 half double crochets. Inside the parentheses, 1 half double crochet decrease and 2 half double crochets form a group. Repeat 3 times. After completing, work 14 half double crochets. Then work 1 half double crochet decrease and 2 half double crochets. After completing, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. This completes the first round. The crochet method for the following second round has been demonstrated previously. Refer to the chart to complete it. This is the sample swatch after completing the second round. Continue to the third row. Starting from the third row, work back and forth. When working back and forth, also mark the first and last stitches of the row. First work 2 slip stitches to the left. The first stitch position already has 1 slip stitch. Continue working at the second stitch position here. Before working, place a stitch marker to mark this stitch. Slip stitches don't need to be pulled tight. After completing 2 slip stitches, the yarn tail transitions to the third stitch position. Then work 2 beginning chains. Then TM stands for half double crochet 3 stitches together. The technique for this stitch is, first work 3 incomplete half double crochets. Then yarn over and draw through all loops in once. The half double crochet, 3 stitches together is completed. Continue working 12 half double crochets. After completing them, work 1 half double crochet, 3 stitches together. First work 3 incomplete half double crochets. Then yarn over and draw through in once. The half double crochet, 3 stitches together is completed. K stands for skip 1 stitch. Skip all remaining stitches here. Row 3 is now complete. Move on to row 4. Chain 1. Turn the work counterclockwise. K stands for skip 1 stitch. Skip the first stitch. Work 1 single crochet in the next stitch. Three half double crochets. Four double crochets. Three half double crochets. One single crochet. SL stands for slip stitch. Do not tighten this slip stitch. This completes row 4. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Now work rows 5 to 6. These 2 rows follow a similar technique to rows 3 and 4. First locate the remaining stitches from round 2, that is, the last stitch of row 4. The stitch to the left of the insertion point. Join the yarn in this stitch. Make a slip knot with the new yarn. Pull the yarn through the loop on your hook. Adjust the loop size. Now the yarn is joined. Then begin working this row. While crocheting, the yarn tail for joining can be placed above the hook and tucked in together. Now you've reached the last stitch of this row. Pay attention to the insertion point. It's where you previously placed the stitch marker. If you can't find the exact spot, you can roughly pick up the edge of the fabric and crochet. This row is now complete. The remaining rows can be crocheted by following the pattern chart. During the crocheting process, you may need to join yarn and weave in ends. You can refer to the video tutorial for rongrong mitang yarn, combined with the previous demonstration for joining yarn and weaving in ends. Note that the stitch techniques shown in the video are not for reference. Below demonstrates rongrong mitang yarn, the method of joining yarn while crocheting. First, work an incomplete stitch, that is, one stitch. Crochet until there are 2 loops left on the hook. Here, work a single crochet. After completing the incomplete stitch, leave a longer tail of the original yarn. Cut the yarn. Take out the new yarn. Still leave a longer tail. Yarn over and pull through. This joins the yarn and completes this stitch. Continue working a few more stitches. The yarn tail doesn't need to be secured yet. To prevent dropping stitches, you can mark the loop with a stitch marker. Secure the yarn. Take these 2 yarn tails, weave them into the back of the fabric. Keep the weaving gaps short. And no need to follow the stitch pattern. You can pick up strands to make a knot. Continue weaving in the ends. This makes it more secure. After weaving in, trim off any excess yarn tails. One yarn tail is now secured. Secure the other yarn tail the same way. This is the method for joining yarn. After completing the main part, use a pet brush to fluff the main part. Make the fabric surface fluffy. If you don't have a pet brush, you can use a small comb at home. Brush the entire bag surface. Stop brushing when the crocheted texture is barely visible. Later, for other parts crocheted with fluffy honey yarn, brush them the same way after finishing. I won't repeat the explanation. Next, sew on the zipper. Here I'll demonstrate using this swatch. The swatch is only for demonstrating sewing. Color scheme is not for reference. Sew the zipper at the opening. First, cut a longer piece of sewing thread. Thread it through the needle. Fold it in half and tie a knot at the yarn end. Set it aside for now. Before sewing, let's get familiar with the zipper structure. When closed, the end with the zipper head is the top stop. The other end is the bottom stop position. The 2 sides are the tapes. The chain is on the tapes. Face the opening towards yourself. This is the right side. Depending on your preference, choose which end to place the zipper head. Place the bottom stop position of the zipper on one side of the opening. Note that the zipper head should face upward. Make sure the position is not reversed. First, check the length of the zipper. The reserved length on both ends of the zipper can be roughly identical. Since the zipper is longer here, you can leave a bit more distance on one side. We'll handle this end later. Secure the bottom stop position to the opening. When securing, the fabric is thick, so sew tightly. Secure it a few times. After the bottom stop is secured, unzip the zipper. Align the opening edge with the zipper chain. First, secure the other end of the zipper and fabric with stitch markers. Also secure the middle tape with stitch markers. This makes sewing easier later. Now sew the tape on this side of the zipper. Pay attention to slightly tighten the yarn while sewing. Sew as tightly as possible. To prevent stitches from loosening later. Since the fabric has long fibers, keep the zipper teeth above the fibers to avoid getting stuck when zipping. Adjust the zipper and fabric while sewing. Ensure the zipper teeth stay positioned above. Keep the opening flat at the same time. Keep the fabric from flaring out or curving in. Sew according to the previous stitch marker positions. Continue sewing down to the other side. Once you reach the other side, make sure the zipper opens and closes smoothly. After confirming, secure with a few extra stitches at the end. Then zip up the zipper. Sew this section above the zipper head to the side of the bag. The side here refers to the middle position of the crocheted section. Feel for a noticeable dent. After confirming the position, unzip the zipper. Secure this position. Once secured, you can slightly secure any excess zipper to the fabric, or reserve a bit of distance from the excess part before cutting it off. You can use a large pair of scissors at home to cut it off. When cutting, cut through the gap between the zipper teeth. It will be easier to cut this way. After cutting, continue to secure both ends. If the yarn tails are still long, you can return and sew this side of the zipper again to make it more secure. Once completed, tie a knot with the yarn tail. Weave in the yarn tails. This way, one side of the zipper is secured. The sewing method for the other side is the same. Pay attention to zip up while sewing the edges. Adjust the position. Prevent the two parts of the zipper from being sewn crooked. Also be mindful that the fabric doesn't flare out or pull in. Keep it neat. Everyone complete this. Look everyone. This is the swatch. This is what it looks like after the zipper is sewn. After sewing is complete, you can use a pet brush to smooth out the visible stitches. That's all for the zipper explanation. Next, let's learn how to crochet the accessories. Accessories include bones, straps, ears, blush, hat, nose, mouth and eyebrows. The new stitch techniques used are V single crochet increase, W 3 single crochets into the same stitch, and a single crochet decrease. First, let's learn how to make the bones. The bones are divided into 2 section 1, 1 section 2, 2 section 3. Let's start crocheting section 1. Magic ring means crocheting in rounds. After completing, make one beginning chain. I'll emphasize again. When working a single crochet round, you need to make one beginning chain at the start of each round. And this beginning chain doesn't count as one stitch. I won't repeat this explanation later. Next, work 6 single crochets into the starting chain. After completing, tighten the magic ring loop. Then, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. At this point, the first round is complete. Next, crochet round 2. Make 1 chain stitch, 1 single crochet and 1 single crochet increase form a group. Repeat 3 times. A single crochet increase means working 2 single crochets into the same stitch. Hook out 2 single crochets. This completes the single crochet increase. Continue 2 more times. After completing, join with a slip stitch in the first stitch. Pull tight. At this point, round 2 is complete. This is section 1 completed. Simply stretch the loop. Then cut the yarn off for later use. Following the previous demonstration, crochet another section 1. Note, do not cut the yarn for the second section 1. I've already completed another section 1 here. The starting tail has been woven in for 1 round. You can cut it directly. Continue to section 2. Continue crocheting on this uncut section 1. Work 1 chain. Crochet 4 single crochets. Then pick up the first section 1. Starting at the first stitch of this section 1, crochet 9 single crochets. Then pick up the second section 1. Continue from the stitch to the left of the fourth stitch. Crochet 5 single crochets. Finish with a slip stitch. The first round is complete. Move on to round 2. Work 1 chain. Crochet 7 single crochets. Then make 1 single crochet decrease. Let's take a look first. The stitch has 2 loops. The loop closer to you is the front loop. The other one is the back loop. Insert into the front loop of the left stitch. Then insert into the front loop of the adjacent stitch. There are 3 loops on the hook. Yarn over, pull through the first 2 loops. 2 loops remain, yarn over again, and draw through in once. Single crochet decrease completed. The braid on the upper right is its stitch. This method of picking up only the front loops for decreasing is called invisible decrease. Using this technique, the gaps between stitches are smaller. The fabric is more delicate overall. One group within the parentheses is completed. Continue to work another group. 7 single crochets. One single crochet decrease. Crochet hook through the front loops of 2 adjacent stitches on the left side. Pull the yarn through the first 2 loops. Yarn over and draw through all loops. Single crochet decrease completed. Finish with a slip stitch. Round 2 is completed. Rounds 3 to 11 have all been demonstrated in detail previously. Just crochet according to the stitch pattern in the table. Work even means 1 single crochet in each stitch. Pay attention to stuffing while crocheting. You can use leftover yarn from the main part for stuffing here. Stuff in small amounts multiple times. Convenient for later crocheting. This is the sample swatch after completing section 2. While crocheting, don't forget the beginning chain and slip stitches. Count rounds by counting these raised textures. Now I'll use a sample swatch to continue crocheting section 3. First, crochet round 1. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 4 single crochets. K9 means skip 9 stitches. Continue working 5 single crochets in the next stitch. Join with a slip stitch after completing. The first round is complete. Continue to crochet round 2. Make 1 chain stitch. Work 1 single crochet. Work 1 single crochet decrease. Repeat these 2 stitches twice more. Join with a slip stitch after completing. The second round is complete. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off after completing. Thread the yarn tail onto a darning needle. Pick up the front loops of round 2 stitches one by one. Then gently pull to tighten the opening. Weave in the ends inside the work several times after completing. Then tie a knot and thread back inside. Trim excess tail. The opening is settled. Take out some waste yarn. Stuffing. Remaining rounds 3 to 4. Continue crocheting on the remaining part of section 2. Continue crocheting. Join the yarn. Make 1 beginning chain. Work 9 single crochets. Join with a slip stitch. The third round is complete. The fourth round follows the same technique as round 2. Refer to the previous demonstration to complete. This is the sample after completing round 4. Before handling the opening, you can stuff some waste yarn inside the opening. Fill in some waste yarn inside the opening. Here we can use scissors as an aid. After completing the stuffing, trim off any excess yarn tails. Then continue to handle the position of the opening. This completes the bone making process. Next, make the strap. First, crochet the shrimp braid, then assemble it. Here, the shrimp braid is crocheted using 2 strands of yarn together. You can take yarn from both the center and outer ring of the skein. Combine 2 strands of yarn as 1 strand for crocheting. Leave yarn tails of at least 20 cm at the beginning, and 30 cm at the end for sewing. Leave yarn tails of at least 20 cm at the beginning, and 30 cm at the end for sewing. The length of a single shrimp braid can be referenced from the chart. For specific shrimp stitch technique, please refer to the following video demonstration. Now demonstrating the crocheting technique of shrimp stitch. Starting chain. Chain 2. Then insert the hook into the back loop of the first chain. Yarn over. Draw the yarn through. Yarn over again, pull through both loops. Keep the hook steady. Rotate the fabric clockwise. Then, pick up 2 strands like this. Yarn over. Pull through. Yarn over again, pull through all loops on the hook. Continue rotating the fabric clockwise. Pick up 2 strands like this. Yarn over. Make a single crochet. Continue rotating the fabric clockwise. Pick up the same 2 strands and make a single crochet. Repeat this method continuously. Rotate the fabric clockwise. Pick up the 2 vertical strands above and to the left for a single crochet. After crocheting to the desired length, chain 1 to secure. Leave yarn tails, cut the yarn. If sewing is needed, leave a long yarn tail. This is the crocheting technique of shrimp stitch. Next, I'll demonstrate the assembly of the strap using a swatch. First, thread the shorter yarn tail of the shrimp braid onto a yarn needle, with the front side of the bag facing us, at the opening on the right side. Secure the end of the shrimp braid, near the edge of the opening. Here you can directly pick up the surface fabric to secure it. The method here is not fixed. Just make sure it's securely fastened at the end. Then the yarn tail can be hidden inside the strap. One end of the strap is now secured. Thread the other shrimp braid onto a yarn needle. Then thread 2 beads onto it. The color scheme for the beads is random. Then thread the bone and 3 beads. The bone exits at the middle positions on both ends. Then secure the yarn tail on the other side of the bag opening. After securing it well, you can thread it back through the needle. Hide the yarn tail inside the bone. Now the strap is assembled. Next, crochet the blush. Use the magic ring technique. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. Begin with a magic ring. Then crochet 1 chain. On the magic ring loop, crochet 3 half double crochets. One single crochet. 1 chain. 1 single crochet. 3 half double crochets. 1 chain. Make 1 slip stitch. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Tighten the magic ring loop. Use this yarn tail to pick up the back loops. This completes 1 blush. You need to crochet 2 blushes in total. Now continue with the ears. You need to crochet 2 ears in total. Divide them into inner ear and outer ear. Both begin with a foundation chain. Work back and forth in rows. Note that inner and outer ears use different yarns. First, learn the outer ear technique. Outer ear is crocheted with velvet honey yarn. Here I demonstrate with original yarn. Random colors. Chain 2 to start. Place a marker on the first stitch. Second to last means work on the second to last stitch. W indicates 3 single crochets in 1 stitch. That is, 3 single crochets in the same stitch. Note that stitch markers mark the first and last stitch of the row. One, 2, 3. 3 single crochets in 1 stitch is done. Row 1 completed. Move on to row 2. Chain 1 first. Turn the work over. Then make a single crochet increase. Note that stitch markers mark the first and last stitch of the row. When crocheting back and forth, always mark the first and last stitch with stitch markers. I won't repeat this instruction. Next is the brackets. Make 1 single crochet on the left side stitch. Chain 2 and 1 single crochet. You can place a marker on the chain space of the 2 chains. Mark with a stitch marker. Then make a single crochet increase. Row 2 is complete. Row 3. First chain 1. Turn the work. Make a single crochet increase. Two single crochets. Then on the left side is the chain space from the previous row. In this chain space, work the content inside the brackets. 1 single crochet, 2 chains and 1 single crochet. Mark this chain space with a stitch marker. Then make 2 single crochets and a single crochet increase. Row 3 is complete. Continue to row 4. Chain 1. Turn the work. Then make a single crochet increase. Four single crochets. On the left side is the chain space from the previous row. Make 1 single crochet in the chain space. 1 chain and 1 single crochet. Then make 4 single crochets and a single crochet increase. Leave a long yarn tail and fasten off. One outer ear is completed. Follow this demonstration to make another outer ear. Next, crochet the inner ear. Start with 2 chains. Row 2. Make 3 single crochets into the first stitch. Row 1 is completed. Next, crochet row 2. Make 1 chain. Turn the work. Then make 2 single crochets and a single crochet increase. Row 2 is completed. Rows 3 and 4 follow the same method demonstrated earlier. Refer to the chart to complete these 2 rows. This is the sample after completing row 4. Continue with round 5. Make 1 chain. Turn the work. Then make a single crochet increase. Next, crochet the group in parentheses. First, make 3 single crochets. Then make 4 single crochets into the next stitch. The group is completed. Next, the left side is the edge of the fabric. Start at the edge on the next row, make 1 single crochet corresponding to the edge on each row, make a total of 3 single crochets. Then reach the starting point. On the remaining chains of the beginning chain, make 4 single crochets, which is the insertion point of the first row. Another group is completed. Continue on the left side edge of the fabric. Crochet 3 single crochets. Then at the insertion point of the single crochet increase, where this round began, make 1 single crochet increase. After completing, stretch the loop. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. Fasten off the starting tail. Find the second stitch of this round. Insert the hook from right to left into the stitch and pull the yarn through. Find the last stitch. The back loop and the strand below the back loop. Pick up both strands from bottom to top. Pull the yarn through. Then weave the yarn tail through the texture to the right side. Gently tighten. This completes one inner ear. Here treat the wrong side of the inner ear as the right side. Follow this demonstration to make another inner ear. That's all for the ears. Next, crochet the nose. Begin with a foundation chain. Crochet in rounds counterclockwise. The technique is similar to the main part of the bag, just the stitch count is different. Remember to make beginning chains and slip stitches when crocheting in rounds. The stitch techniques used have all been demonstrated before. Refer to the form and previous demonstrations. Complete this section. After finishing, the final finishing part. Can refer to the inner ear demonstration. Bring the yarn tail to the front side. That's all for the nose. Next, crochet the mouth. The mouth uses the method of crocheting chain stitches with the yarn hanging. Hook out the required number of stitches. Leave a longer tail first. Make a slip knot. Then pick up the lower yarn strand. Hang it from front to back onto the hook. Pinch the 2 loops. Yarn over and draw through. This is the first stitch. Continue to pick up the lower yarn strand. Yarn over from front to back. Yarn over and draw through. This is the second stitch. Repeat this technique. Hook out the required number of stitches. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off after completing. Tie a knot with the ending yarn tail. Consider the side with clearer texture as the right side. This is the wrong side. After tying the yarn tail, weave in the yarn tail on the wrong side. Then trim off any excess yarn tails for later use. This completes the mouth. Next, crochet the eyebrows. First, make 4 chain stitches. Then on the 4th stitch from the end, which is the first stitch position, make 1 double crochet, 3 chain stitches and 1 slip stitch. Pull tight. Leave a yarn tail and fasten off. This completes one eyebrow. Crochet another eyebrow according to the demonstration. That's all for the eyebrows. Now let's crochet the hat. The hat starts with a foundation chain, working back and forth in rows. First, make a foundation chain of 16 stitches. After completing, start working row 1 on the second to last stitch. Begin crocheting the first row. 5SL means 5 slip stitches. Do not tighten the slip stitches here. Pick up the top strand of the chain stitch to crochet. After completing, work single crochets into each stitch accordingly. Crochet a total of 10 single crochets. After completing, row 1 is finished. Row 2. Work 1 chain. Turn the work. BLO means back loop only. That is the back strand of the stitch. Pick up this strand to crochet. The slip stitch position also has 2 strands. Pick up the back strand to crochet. First work 10 single crochets into each stitch accordingly. After completing, work 5 slip stitches. After completing, row 2 is finished. Row 3, work 1 chain. Turn the work. Continue crocheting in the back loop of the stitches. 5 slip stitches. After completing, work 10 single crochets. Row 3 is completed. The remaining part of the small hat. We'll repeat the crochet method from row 2 to row 3. Continue until you reach the desired number of rows. Just follow the previous demonstration for crocheting. When counting rows for this small hat, every 2 rows will form a deeper texture. Just count the rows according to this texture. This is the completed swatch. Leave a 30 cm yarn tail, and fasten off the yarn. The crocheting of the small hat is finished. Next, let's learn assembly. I'll demonstrate using a swatch. Actual color scheme is not for reference. Let's assemble the ears first. Take out the outer ear first. Brush the surface and set aside for later use. Here, brush the surface of the outer ear's edge as well. This will make the overall look better. Next, take out the inner ear. Apply alcohol glue on the right side. The inner ear is a triangle shape, so direction doesn't matter. You can also according to your preference. Choose to attach with the starting point facing up. Align one corner of the inner ear with one corner of the outer ear. Attach in the middle position. Press for a while after attaching to make it more secure. Now the inner ear is assembled. Next, thread the yarn tail of the outer ear onto a darning needle, with the front side of the bag facing towards you. Place the ears on the side of the opening. Position both ears symmetrically, with the middle of the ears spaced about 2 fingers apart. You can adjust the exact position according to personal preference. Once the position is confirmed, you can use stitch markers. Secure the ears to the main part of the bag. Double check the position after securing. Sew the bottom edge of the ears to the main part. Sew along the side of the opening. The sewing method is not fixed. Try to sew tightly. And make sure the ears stand upright after sewing. Now one ear is sewn. Hide the yarn tails inside the bag. Continue sewing the other ear following this demonstration. I will not repeat the demonstration. The ears are now assembled. Here's what the ear group looks like when completed. Use a pet brush to fluff the connection area of the ears. The ear assembly is now fully completed. Next, assemble the facial expression. Start with the mouth. Find a smooth surface. Apply a small amount of alcohol glue to the wrong side of the mouth. Then flip it to the right side. Adjust the shape on the smooth surface. Once the shape is set, wait for the glue to dry completely. Now demonstrate with this swatch. Place the eyes and nose first in the center of the bag. Adjust the position. Note that the nose is upside down. The nose should be between the 2 dividing lines. Attach it in the lower position. Pay attention before attaching. Tidy up the fuzz neatly. The eyes should be symmetrical. Once the position is confirmed, attach the nose and eyes in order. Next, take out the blush. The blush is right side facing up. Place the blush on both sides of the eyes in the right position. Remember to maintain symmetry. Then take out the eyeshadow and apply it below the blush. The area should be a bit larger, exceeding the size of the blush. Apply with light layers multiple times, to prevent the color from being too heavy. Then attach it. Next, pick up the mouth you prepared earlier. Attach it in the right position. Finally, above the eyes, attach the eyebrows diagonally like this. The eyebrows are right side facing up. Also attach the yarn tail to the back. Now the expression is assembled. Next, assemble the hat. Thread the reserved yarn tail onto a darning needle. Align the beginning chain of the hat with the last row. Use the whip stitch method. Sew them together. When sewing, pick up the 2 remaining strands of the chain stitch. And the back loop of the last row. Thread through from front to back like this. Sew all the way along this side. After finishing, sew one more time at the last stitch position to secure it. After sewing, weave the yarn tail to the top of the hat. Tie a knot at any position to secure. Then skip a small distance. Sequentially pass through the edge positions at the top of the hat. Pull tight after completing one round. You can sew a few more stitches to secure. Then weave in the ends. The slip stitch end is the top of the hat. Fold the other end upward to form the brim. The width of the brim depends on personal preference. Hide the starting tail. Now the hat is sewn together. Then take another yarn. Secure this bottom edge of the brim to the main part of the bag. The method is not fixed. Just make sure it's securely attached. After sewing, the hat stands up like this. Finally, apply alcohol glue on the top of the hat. Attach a pom-pom. Now the hat is assembled. Up to this point, the entire bag has been explained. If you still have unclear parts during the crocheting process, don't hesitate to join our Facebook group to get supports. Susan's Family, supporting your handwork experience, sharing the joy of life. Thank you for watching. See you in the next episode.